if you think about the new generation, including you guys, the new generation of intelligence products and softwares that we're seeing through, I'm working with people like Looker, or we're working with Omni. There's, they've all got machine learning embedded as a table stake. Is no longer differentiated. It's just expected now. And even in your phone, everything in here is just enough ML to be cool, but not enough to be scary. And I just think that's the way that we're going to eke along. You can only go as fast as the slowest cohort. But I just think there's such a massive opportunity to be a lot smarter in iGaming affiliation than everybody is right now. I think that's a massive opportunity. And change, I love change. I'm a change freak. And wherever you get change, there's always, I think it's very exciting.
I'm John Wright, and you're listening to Affiliate BI, the business intelligence and affiliate marketing podcast brought to you by StatsDrive. Welcome to the Affiliate BI podcast. Today we're chatting with Richard Dennys, who is the CEO of Game Lounge, and he was previously CEO at WebGains. He's got 20 years of digital and affiliate marketing experience covering commercial roles to SEO. I think we're going to be talking a lot about affiliate marketing. Richard, welcome to the show.
Thanks very much, John. Great to be here.
So from the time I've had a chance to get to know you, I think you're a great leader. And I want to know, like, just for myself personally, is this a natural skill, something that you've had to work on over time, and something that you are always working on to add to your leadership?
That's very kind of you to say. It doesn't feel like that sometimes from my point of view, but I appreciate it. I think you say 20 years, I've actually been working probably a bit longer than that, maybe even double that. I've done a lot of things. I've worked in a lot of places. I've studied a lot of stuff. I've worked with so many different people. I've had very high highs and very low lows. There's very few things now in the world that frighten me from a business point of view. I've been through some pretty sticky situations. And I've also had a lot of different roles. So I can empathize very well with the people who are around me. I know how annoying it is to have to report to somebody like me. And I'm pretty driven, but at the same time, I do work very hard on my empathy and empathetic leadership. And I do switch between the kind of hero leader and a servant leader. I automated it now, but there was a time where I was just like, look, I've got to be the front of the business. I've got to be driving everything. I've got to take every decision. And you just can't do that. That's just impossible. When you're running a company with 100 or 200 or 300 people, you just have to hire the best people you can, trust them, try and align them with what your overall kind of vision and missions are. And tie it to humans, tie it to the fact that we're all people, that we've all got challenges, and we've all got other people at home around us, and we're trying to fight the same fight. And I guess it's shoulder to shoulder rather than me with a big stick and a big microphone and megaphone. I'm not that kind of person. Some people, when they start working with me, what do I do next? And I'm like, I don't know what to do with you next. I don't really hire people to tell them what to do. I hire them to show me what they can do. And actually, one of the things I tend to do is I create vacuums. So I'll create a load of things that need to be decided in a vacuum, and then we'll see who jumps into that vacuum. And that's usually a very good indicator of somebody that's got leadership tendencies. Because if I'm the manager of 200 other managers, it's just impossible. And I think if I had to distill it down, that's probably what it is. Yeah. Who knows about great leadership? Great leadership. What does that even mean? But people tend to like it, like working to lead. People have followed me from place to place, and vice versa. So that's pretty much it. Yeah. I haven't really actually work on it, but I just think it comes from maturity and time. And making some terrible decisions and trying to make them less expensive as time goes on.
Yeah, I think that's something we can all aspire to. And I'm sure like the other concept on the opposite side of micromanaging is things that people dread. And it's just interesting to talk to people and go, okay, what is your experience working at different companies and hearing the extreme ranges of work situations from, I can't wait to leave this company to this company is amazing.
Yeah, and people leave people that they want to join people. It's always about human beings. I've worked for some fantastic bosses. I've also worked for some terrible people. I mean, just terrible humans. And it's still what you like and what you don't like, and the things that worked and haven't worked. And God, I'm just Rolodexing now in my brain some of the situations I've seen. I'm like, it's me. I never will ever want to be like that with other people. Yeah, I think that's it. You just naturally form it, isn't it? It's nurture and nature. It's just a formation in the end. And then the other thing is that I've grown a very thick skin, so I don't really care too much about what people think about me. But what I do care about is the results. I want to make sure that we're always going in the right direction. I'm a great believer in growth, not at all costs, but really I want a growth mindset wherever I work. Because it's relatively easy, and even in this industry, to sit still and just watch the money pour in. But that's really boring. And this also doesn't give anyone a kind of racing sort of finishing line, anything to run towards. We are in these kind of infinite businesses which don't really have a finite day, and you need to make the mission driven. Otherwise, people just won't care, and that's the secret.
And I guess without me actually going through LinkedIn and going, okay, what does Game Launch have for talent? If you don't have a head of growth, I'm assuming that you take on some of that responsibility. And it just sounds like maybe some companies don't have some of these roles where it's not top of mind from a management perspective.
We don't have a head of growth, but what we have is a growth mindset. So that means that everyone understands what we're doing, where we're going. The annual bonuses are tied to a particular level of profitable growth. We don't talk about it all the time. It's also at not all costs. Our Horizon 1 business, which is the business we have today, that does have, percentage OKRs. A lot of those OKRs are cascaded down from our core one, which is around delight and profitability. And then we've got another part of our business, which has got things like BetLooker and some of the benchmark properties and tracker. There's a number of things that are perpendicular to our casino affiliate business, I say SEO. And we've got teams of people working there, and they're much more around delivery, check boxes, milestones. We're not too bothered about making money right now. It's much more of an incubator. And that's a different way. And those people are very independent. We give them everything they want. And then we just say, bring us some money at some point when you get to critical mass, but we're not there yet. But I've run lots of businesses like that before too, so I know what to look for.
And I want to ask, what are the skills and experiences you've taken from WebGains and bringing that into an iGaming company like Game Launch?
Yes. So it's interesting. It's interesting to move from a network to an affiliate, because again, we were very careful when I was at WebGains to make sure that we put the affiliate first. In the end, the networks in e-commerce and retail have got much more of a powerful position. They are brokering the deals. They are working hard with account managers to optimize commissions and overrides and tendencies, they call them, rather than fixed fees. And so there's a lot of mechanics that are involved. It's actually a very hard business to run. It's a very hard business to make money from. You can easily lose money as an or really stay still. And you've always got this, you'll know this with StatsTrone, you're always about business development, you're about affiliate management, and you're about profit optimization, because you're building software. In effect, you're a platform business. The balancing of those three key areas is pretty difficult. And sometimes you go hard on the marketing, sometimes you go hard on the affiliate relationships, and sometimes you go hard on the steps of the software development. And that's hard. But moving into the affiliation space as an affiliate, not in e-commerce, and moving into iGaming, where there are a lot more direct relationships with operators, the networks don't seem to, or platforms, well, in fact, it's not really a network. The platforms just seem to be pretty benign. And really, I've had a few conversations with people where they say, look, we just regard platforms as tracking. I just think they're missing a trick. I think everyone's missing a trick. Anyway, so what I bring in is how it can work. I know the best practice. I know when these things work in harmony with a very good client or operator, a very efficient and smart platform, and then a really aggressive, motivated affiliate. I know what that looks like, and I know how that can work. And I haven't seen it at all in this industry, one in any area. So I think there's probably a couple of direct relationships we've got here with some of the big operators, but it's still that mistrust, which you just don't have in e-commerce. You just don't have that, because the transparency is there. You can see if somebody's trying to trick you or shave you or anything else. Whereas in the industry, it's just the opacity has just been shocking. I don't know what we're going to do to change it, but we can only start talking about it before we get such change.
Yeah. Do you think it has more to do with the fact that my take is I actually see less affiliate networks in iGaming and more in the affiliate marketing space? Like affiliate marketing, they seem to be everywhere. Like the biggest companies you can think of, Awin, Share a Sales, CJ, ClickBank, Impact.com. Like these are massive companies.
They're massive companies, right? Because they work on the basis that they're going to have one merchant, and then up to some of our programs, we have 9,000 affiliates attached to them. And you can't do that manually. You need a network stroke platform to manage that for you and also to optimize it for you. And you do need an account manager in there, not just to optimize campaigns, but just make sure people get paid on time and make sure the relationship with your all stakeholder partners and stakeholders are smooth. Whereas here, you say there's not many platforms. We have to collect data from, a lot of places, whether it's the native in-house operated platforms or whether they're the commercial ones. We all know who they are. And just to do that, I've got a team of people building software that's basically either scraping or API and pointing into these systems. There's no common standard. It's a real it's almost a competitive frontline. And we've got people knocking on our door saying to us, please, can we use your tool? Because otherwise they've got 6 or 7 people literally uploading and downloading Excel spreadsheets every month, which in an industry that's just billions and billions, you're just saying, whatever is going on here? It's a bit of a wake up call. I can feel myself ebbing into kind of believing that this is the status quo, but I keep waking myself up and saying, no, there's a better way. And I've had a few conversations with my peer group CEOs and obviously more than one operator. At Lisbon, we were talking at one of the dinners and there was a bunch of us around the table saying, look, where is the trust? Why do we mistrust each other so much? And they just said, it's just been like that always. And it's because in the old days, affiliates used to make a ton of cash at the expense of the operators. And now the groups in the foot a little bit more competition and was more regulated. And I'm just saying, look, guys, if we show you ours, you show it's that exchange of data. Number one, we can make more money together. And number two, we can be much better on player safety. And obviously regulation is important, of course it is, but at the same time, we can be better self-governing if we have more information about problem areas of people we see that are coming back time on time. We see much more than an operator will see. We see much more than any regulator can see via an operator. We see the whole market. It's the whole point of an affiliate like ours, where we see every market, we see every searched person coming through and not clicking. And we have a huge amount of data that nobody's asking us about.
They just assume that you would never hear it. And I've talked to a few bigger affiliates, and I was actually surprised to hear any affiliate say something like this, like they'd actually consider sharing it and going, it's about time we're sitting on valuable data, but they're like, what do we do with it? And I think people are just scared, like, why share it when someone's just going to hypothetically use that against them? But I think
that's the oldest argument in competitor argument in the world, which is we want our pie and we want all of the little pies, not precisely like your pie. Even to the point where I shared some very high level conversion data of a peer group with somebody, and they were completely shocked. They thought they were riding high and the best in the industry, and they really were. And it woke them up to realize that they had a lot of work to do. And as a result of that, I hear there's all sorts of things around, and they're changing this, that, and the other. But that was just from one piece of information I sent them. So I'm not saying that I have the control over everything, or we do, or anybody else in our big group basis. That data is available. That data is available to see whether or not anyone is actually registering, and then they're spending money for you, and then it's the average deposit value and everything else. It would make sense to have something that would say, actually, from an industry benchmarking point of view, this is what good looks like. This is what great could be, as opposed to everyone just running around massaging numbers, which I don't know if they do or not, but the technicians do it.
Yeah, I think actually in a personal chat with you, you mentioned this idea about how do we bring the affiliates and operators together to do more sharing. And the podcast we're about to publish this week is from Julia Dragic from CPV Lab. And she said the same thing. And we actually have this weird parallels. In the SaaS industry, everyone's sharing everything. It's
Exactly.
like building in public. And affiliate marketing, it just gets super close. People just get uptight about sharing. And
yeah, I came from, before Web Games, I worked at Tech City, which is then came Tech Nation, and it was incubation for the UK government. They're investing in accelerating incubation services for UK startups, mainly in London and anyway national. And it was so liberating to work with people like the open data industry, people like What 3 Words, people whose business model was to open their data. And Transport for London was a project at the time where they were just saying, look, we can see everybody moving around London. We're gonna endpoint that so anyone can get it. You don't have to pay for it. We make our money anyway. And then of course it spawned this whole sort of ecosystem of aware businesses, including people like Citymapper and everything else that are building their business model on that data. But it just meant everything became faster, and London became much more of an agile city as a result of that. My point is, you're right, in SaaS, that's like building public is normal. And then in Lisbon, we have Tim Berners-Lee just coming on the stage and reminding all arts in the room, open data is the way forward. That was always the way the internet was supposed to be set up. It was to share common human knowledge. And yet what happened is we all came in, made money and put the shutters down. And it's all zero sum. So this is the problem, is that at the end of the day, we're all against Google. We are an SEO affiliate. And we have to always stand up and say, my name's Richard and I'm an SEO affiliate. Because everyone's talking all the time about getting away from Google. I don't know if you can. I think there is obviously some secondary or tertiary way of doing it, but we're just in that game. We're in that game, and we just have to believe that's a game that we can all share in a win and whatever, but it isn't zero sum. So again, my point would be being better and more open on what we're doing. And the reasons why affiliates are here, they're not just here to steal traffic from an operator and beat them at the Google game. We're here to offer whole of market choice on the best ways for our players to play and the safest ways for our players to play, because you will not get, they'll say they're independent and objective, but of course any operator is not going to be independent and objective. They have their own, if they're one or anything else, but we have a view of all this. We talk to all of them all the time. So therefore the affiliate is a price comparison or experience comparison or a ranking listing directory, whatever we say. That's what we are. And therefore people see that we're more useful, and that's why they'll promote viewers like ours in their listings.
And do you think the sub-affiliation or affiliate networks is going to play a more prominent role in iGaming, as well as be one of the many mechanisms that will bring affiliates and operators together in a data sharing way?
Yes, I do. However, I think I know that everybody else in my sector in this space is looking at that now, including ourselves. We're very lucky that we have internal systems that allow us to pretty much switch on from tomorrow. But the thing to remember is that we're still going to be dealing with traffic generators, and most of those traffic generators are doing it through either SEO or PPC. So they're doing it through paid or free search intent data. It's an accelerator, but it's not a replacement for Google listings. It's just pretty much the same place. Things may move on. Obviously, we've got streamers and videos and everything. We've mentioned before about the value of video and AV for the new generation of players. But no, sub-affiliation will be good, but it's another traffic channel. It's a sub-affiliation network, which we've seen in e-commerce for a long time. You've got SKU Links and you've got all the others, people like that are well established, and they've got their own guardians and they've got their own KYCs. And people have been using sub networks like that for a long, long time. So yeah, it's the way it goes. It's like anything. It's a bit like the sweeps at the moment in the industry. It's, oh yeah, there's a fun sexy thing over there that's all running that direction. And like you learn in economic theory, you've got some super profits in the early stage, and then also it balances out as all the entrants move in and start to take a bit of that early mid advantage. Yeah, it's not going to be the future for all of us. It can be a nice secondary channel for most of us.
Do you think there's a potential new business model in the sub-affiliation space in regards to this concept? Like when you think about what an affiliate network is, it's almost like the network has virtual equity in the affiliate. It's like the more money they make, the more money the network would make. So do you envision a future where networks could say, wait a minute, we're actually incentivized to help you or coach you with SEO or coach you with aspects of your business? Do you think this is going to be a new type of affiliate network, or ones that say, hey, this is actually a smart division that we want to build inside of it that I've never seen before?
Maybe. I mean, if I think about going back to web games, so it wasn't necessarily how you describe it. It was more around campaign management. It's about optimizations. It's about the personnel. Plus, it was also about the affiliate type. So within affiliate marketing, the e-commerce, you've got endless types of affiliates. You've got content like most of us, but then you've got technical affiliates who are the drop downs, and then the buy now, pay laters and the baskets, and then there's the cross selling and upselling. There's an endless number of different types of affiliates in e-commerce. You've got PPC affiliates and there's social media affiliates. There's just so many types. And that just doesn't exist here. That just doesn't seem to be a thing, because we're not selling products. There's nothing you can go and buy in a store and wait for delivery from. This is instant virtual services. So it's quite difficult. It's quite difficult to come and play. You might get obviously move you up to exit. So, you might have a drop down saying, wait, here's an extra bonus. But that's pretty much it. And so there's no fighting to the bottom of the funnel, which is what you get in the other industry. So I'm not sure if there is in iGaming unless things really change. There possibly might be if the model shifted to be blended between the two verticals. So, for example, you've got people that are playing and they might buy kit. You've got headphones on and there's a microphone here, all those kind of things that you could start to resell or cross and upsell. And vice versa, you could try and do NBCs in mass media, which you do see now and again, especially in content sites. I don't know if the answer is yes to that. And then the margins, obviously, your margins are up to 50% profitability in pure content SEO affiliate marketing as an affiliate. That's very nice. As opposed to if you're in a network, if you're doing 6%, you're doing well. It's hard yards for the same money. And you always have to think about that. Software is very expensive. You can put in so much. I keep saying it here. I'd say you've got management debt, financial debt, technical debt, energy debt. There's loads of debts you can put in for this job. This is what you spend your life on. And any wrong or feature you build, or you build it the wrong way, or you build it that doesn't work, or you build it why, there's so many risks that you can put in there. Whereas opposed to just setting another site in another market, like they try and get to number one on Google, I wouldn't say it's particularly difficult. Obviously, there's lots of people trying to do it, but it's not as difficult as building software.
Yeah. I'm personally happy actually leaving that. You go and attack Google and get those rankings. I'm like very happy to leave that behind and go, yeah, B2B, less competition.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, exactly. Less barriers to entry for exactly the reasons I was described. Software development is really hard. And then you've got to make money out of it based on a need this small term, and then you've got to trade it. And if you break through that valley of death, which so many people don't, you're into big money. But if you don't, otherwise it's just where that never makes it to the world. But I mean, I definitely don't include StatsDone in that because StatsDone's a great piece.
Continuing on the sub-affiliation discussion, do you think that this must be an obvious thing that there's cohorts of data? Like you talked about the types of affiliates, there's like the streamers, there's the SEO ones, there's people that have forums. I think this cohort of data would be very rich. And I get the feeling that networks, they technically have it, but I just haven't heard of a network going, hey, do you want the latest cohort of our 1,000 affiliates and going, this is the industry that you don't know. I just think that this might be an opportunity for networks to be that sort of gatekeeper that can share it on both sides. Because every time I talk to affiliate managers and owners of casinos, I never really hear this discussion about cohorts analysis and understanding their true player values and how they actually change, not just across affiliates, but across the traffic within affiliates.
Yeah, it's the key to the kingdom. It really is that we are trying to move away from, not move away, but we try to build upon, we are a media business, we're a publishing company, and we build websites with nice content and they rank well on Google. But it's running around the affinity. We try to transform into a real-time data business. That's really where we want to get. And we're far away from that, but not as far as I think some others. We have a plan for that. And it's just being intelligent about the kind of things that our partners are looking for and needing. You mentioned about you've never seen it in operators. I have seen it in operators, and some of the operators are really good at that. They really have a very good understanding of what their data shapes look like. On the other hand, this industry, the common currency, the North Star seems to be on FQDs and first-time depositors, but they're not the first-time depositors playing. It's not the first time they've deposited any money playing. They're just moving from place to place. And they can't, obviously the operators can't see there. And this is my point about opening up the data. As an affiliate, we could work in partnership and have a much better understanding of that kind of data, obviously within guardrails and making sure that they was trying towards and nobody could really see each other's data. But that's the kind of thing we're hoping to build into the Game Lounge offer, is just having a much, much better understanding of, might you say, cohorts, because one operator's cohort from month 1 to 3 could be another operator's cohort from year 2 to 5. And they're still doing the same thing, and they're still arguably playing more or less the same games in the same market, besides they jump from country to country. Some do, but not very often. So this is just what I'm saying, is that the opportunity is really there to trying, I don't know if we do on an industry basis, but certainly having a lot more of an idea of really what's going on. And that's with the players that we have now and the age demographics and the affinity and intent. And then coming on behind is a whole new cohort and new types of player, which don't use Google ever. They're just working as a kind of almost like a cerebral community where you see their physical presence, but we see them in the streets and everybody else, but actually their minds are somewhere completely different. They're all linked to each other in this kind of mass social, so peer-to-peer social network in Snapchat or in all the other Instagrams or TikTok and everything like that. They're just all connected. My kids, they're in their early 20s, and do you know so-and-so? Oh, yeah, I know so-and-so. Yeah, I know what they're doing, but they'd never met them. And probably if they met them in the street, they'd walk past each other, but they know their kind of digital personality. And that's totally different to the kind of cohorts and people that we're speaking to right now. Now, I'm not trying to say that we have to drag everybody under 25 into gambling. That's just not what I'm trying to say at all. But in order to attract the people who are there already, I'm not really a big fan of demand generation in that age group. But if there's intent already, then we want to direct them to the safest places. And really, that's our priority now. And that can be streamers, that can be videos, it can be short form videos, it can be all sorts of things. But it's very short and very digestible, and not 600-word articles or big long reviews and things like that. Words are bad for anyone under 30 nowadays.
That is so true. And I think a lot of affiliates need to hear it, but I leave that to Google and Search Console. And if they can figure that out, great.
More. But everyone's saying it, you can see it. You can see that overall it's Google search and intent traffic is slowly eroding. And that's literally a dying market. People are living along the chain and not being replaced. So they're somewhere else.
I want to talk about the concept of product and the roles of products. I wrote an article on it recently, and I've become a fan of product just from my own experience of going, hey, wait a minute, we're actually hiring a product company, not a design agency. So I believe Game Lounge is actually one of the companies that has a very forward thinking when it comes to that. What is your take on that role? And do you think it's maybe underserved in other affiliate companies or other industries as well?
Yeah, this is a conversation we've had for years and years. What is a product? What does product development really mean? What does being a product-led company entail? And what actually are our products? Are we physical or tangible, intangible? What are we selling? We're selling advice, we're selling guidance, we're selling all sorts of things. And from that point of view, yes, I think we're very native. We have everything native. We're not really going to a third party anywhere. We've got an internal product team. We've got an external kind of product team. You've got product managers, you've got project managers. But for basically a media business, we've got a lot of people working in product. And it is really good. And there's a lot of work around user intent, everything from looking at search intent and Google Search Console and all the kind of things that we can see, through to the movement on a page by country, by color. We've got this great team upstairs, and they're a kind of design team. And they're really smart. They're a really smart bunch of people, and they know what they're looking for, and they know what works, and they know what good looks like. But they also realize that nothing stays the same. So they're continuously iterating. And I think that is very important, because if you just throw up some websites, and even if you've got good content, unless you've got that kind of, there was a book called Don't Make Me Think, which is just about good UI. If you're making people think, then you're making them stop. And if they stop, they'll not do what you want them to do. So I'm not saying we have to employ things like dark patterns, but at the same time, they're in the middle of something else. We shouldn't be stopping them. So that whole kind of ethos around product being taking away the frictions of a journey is very important. From the point of view of products to sell to other people, we're not like you guys. We've said many times, we're using software to enable us and not because of us, if that makes sense. We're not a software company, but we've got some very talented designers, front-enders, engineers, server people, all the way through the stack. We're very well served and stocked with that, but not too much. And we don't spend too much on that.
But you would say that product should or usually does lead to a positive result in SEO.
What leads to good results in SEO seems to be the second click, because that's obviously showing Google that it's engaging content. And that's really what we work very hard on. So we work hard on getting it in the first place, and then we work very hard on making them stay, read properly, and then click forward, not just bounce back. And if that's product, then that's what we do very well. Is product technology? Should technology be a function of product? Should product be a function of technology? That's an age-old argument we haven't really solved, but we can't take it in both senses. I've worked in the past with people who've been very technical, very clever developers. When I was working at Nokia, and the developers at Nokia were unbelievable, and they were pretty much product directors each, and they worked very well together, and they understood each other, and therefore they were doing both roles. But that was an extreme. And then you come to smaller companies or people that have got more junior people. And then there's swim lanes that they're all in, and then they have to match together. So you've got engineers talking to the team. It's less efficient, but it's actually quite nice for a actual. But what you don't want to do is have product people coming up with strategy as well as engineers coming up with strategy, and then the whole thing just slows down and they argue, and then nothing happens. You need to one on top of the other at some point.
And you mentioned like video is becoming like an important thing. And how would you say that video is not just a generic strategy for affiliate sites, but maybe just throw either ideas or what do you see as the future of video in relation to affiliate marketing?
In the end of the day, you're a representation of your brands, right? So that's what affiliate means. You're representing either the industry that they're in or them themselves. We're in a world now where back in the day, everyone sat around the fire reading books, and obviously TV came in and the internet came in and everything else, all the other interruptions that we now face. People just don't have time to read long for anything. And my kids, they just can't watch a 90-minute movie. They just cannot get through it. And I'm not saying that I can do anything about it with my role thing. They just don't have the attention span. There's always something beeping or pinging or something in their way, or it will just stop their mind flow. And video is nice like that, but you'll see that there's this move towards short-form, and short-form video just seems to be what everyone's called video addicts to right now. I just see everybody in the street just zombified, just scrolling through their phones on buses or in wherever they are, restaurants, and that's pretty miserable. But that's where they are. So our video, it's all video. It's all video. So video is the future. And I think there's going to be the blend between, as I said before, the digital and the virtual and the physical personalities, with people having more than one. I mean, it's pretty common. You'll have somebody who sits in office you never heard from, and you look at their social profile and there's some massive influencer with millions of followers. It's a new paradigm. So I think video is massively the way forward. We've got a very good video team here. They're doing everything from reviews all the way through to how-tos, how to play stuff, how to win things, what strategies might look like in different languages. We've got a native studio here. We're putting out, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos a month through our site. So there's one site, I won't say which one it is, but there is one site that's been languished around for a while, not particularly high in the rankings. And then we've changed that team now, and they're putting video first. So the first thing they're doing before they're writing it is video, either live like this or pre-formatted, and how to use and what you do and how it all works. And all of a sudden that site's starting to get really nice traction. And it's not a lot of content. It's probably 30 to 50 short-term video, if you're making them yourself, if you're doing it, you might think videos is quite a lot. But when we've got a team of people doing that, they're doing 500 to 700 a month. It's relatively straightforward to agree with that.
And is that embedding those videos with YouTube? I'm asking for a friend.
Cool. Yeah. It's all sector, isn't it? So the Google world is pretty extensive. So you'll look in all parts of its ecosystem to work out whether they want to engage you with that stuff.
Okay, so next I've got a couple of rapid fire questions, more of the short form stuff. What does affiliate marketing need more of?
Transparency.
Nice one. Given your knowledge and experience, if you had to start a business today with only $50K as a budget, what would that be?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I'd say just set up some affiliate sites in a real niche that hasn't really blown up yet. But I probably wouldn't need 50K for that.
Yeah, probably not. I personally would probably just do an SEO agency. I'd be like, yeah, I'll take people's money and then get going and then build affiliate sites.
Yeah.
If affiliates would be more successful if they did this.
I think, I think it's have a bit more of a long-term view, because this stuff takes time. And if you think it's just one of those kind of go in, burn and leave, you're going to fall foul. And I've spoken to some of my peer groups. Some of them are doing brilliantly well, and some of them are doing terribly and properly terribly. And it's because they're working quarter to quarter and they're thinking about things in quite a few of my peer group are listed, and you're always about your last quarter and you've got shareholders and all that stuff to really deal with. It's really hard. I'm not saying it's not the right thing to do. It's just difficult. And everybody's you're only as strong as your last quarter or your last year-on-year period. I came from that. WebGains is that world. It wasn't too bad because it wasn't directly listed. I know people like Awin, they found it very difficult when they were attached to the Axel Springer, and now you'll see they've come away from that and they're flourishing. You can see what Adam's doing with now that he's got a bit of space and time to be free in a private world. So I'd say it's thinking beyond the first horizon. I talk in 3 horizons here. It's H1, H2, H3. We've got most of our business, if not 60, 78% of business in H1. But we've also got a fair proportion in H2, which is what's happening next, where we're going. And then the vision and mission stuff towards a much more intelligent, smart future on Horizon 3 with AI and all the convergence of everything, devices and all the difference in humanity and consumption is the horizon that we're setting sail for. And that is, I don't spend any of my time in H1. I have a very good COO and a very good management team that looks at today's business. I've got an excellent finance department that looks at yesterday's business. And then I've got some very smart people who are in the second horizon. So I spend all of my time in that. I'm pretty much, we something called GLX internally, which is Game Labs X, and that's really what we're building next. And I spend a lot of my time in that. And we've got the luxury of doing that because we're not on the markets. Yes, we're PE backed, and yes, they have their demands, and yes, they want to make sure that we're making money and feeding the center of it. At the same time, they're fairly hands off and are aligned and they hired me. So, they're giving me a bit of time to work this stuff out. And I've cut some costs in some areas. We've let some people go in some other areas. We've left, which is reorganizing some of those Horizon 2 parts. And then we're ready. And that would include self-affiliation. That includes the stock trackers. It includes some of the eventually properties where we've got a little profit that we can reinvest and start to build for whatever comes next.
Yeah, that's an interesting answer for long-term vision. I had the chance to chat with one of the more successful private iGaming affiliates, and I said, "What's behind your success? Is it SEO? Is it PPC?" And the reply was instantly, "It's no one in the industry has a long-term vision." I think that's very true, and I think the companies that actually do have a long-term vision, you see it in their detail, like their attention to detail, going, "Okay, this might not be moving the needle for tomorrow, but it could be in X months' time," because the thought process is actually very deep.
Yeah, I've looked at this, and I've looked at this not just doing iGaming, but looked at this previously. Whenever you've got the founders still involved in the company, it's either good or bad news. Sometimes it's very bad news because they're just stuck in the past. In our case, we've still got the two founders of the business still. I wouldn't say they're both massively involved. One is very involved, and the other one is on an advisory capacity with me, and he's just unbelievably helpful and positive. And I think that helps you think about what's next, because one of them comes to me all the time with, "What about this? What about that? What about that next?" And it's just so refreshing. It's really nice. It's really nice position to be in where these guys have seen everything for the last, 12, 15 years. They've made plenty of money that either of them can stop tomorrow and live and never work ever again. And yet they choose to because they're still engaged in the business. They believe in the people, they believe in the model, they believe in me. And it's just such a privilege to have that sort of setup where they're behind me, I'm behind them, and we're working hard for that Horizon 2, Horizon 3 strategy. It's somebody told me, in fact, when I was looking for jobs or when I was talking to different people, the fact that this was not listed, and I do have some course people who are listed, the money is much higher in listed businesses, but that really wasn't the attraction. The hassle is also massively higher, investor calls and all those kinds of things. It's not really me. And you've pretty worked out. And so far, I'm not too corporate. So it would be pretty tricky for me to manage that properly.
Yeah. I've got a question that's not scripted. So if we don't like this answer, we won't include it. People will know. If we take it out, people wouldn't know. I've had this conversation about sub-affiliation and affiliate networks where the concept in iGaming would look something like this. You have a bigger company that already has really good deals. And that's one of the reasons why you join a network. What happens if more networks become more prominent, where the smaller to mid-sized affiliates, they get to become part of those deals? Now they get a better deal than what they do on their own. The affiliate network is basically going, "Okay, we're getting the max deal." And operators are now left with hypothetically less business that involves higher margins. What would you say to this? Is this like a problem, a dilemma, or a reality? Or is there a way where this can still actually benefit operators without being like doomsday, your best margins are gone?
It depends whether you take a micro or macroeconomic view. I studied economics a long time ago, and I do understand the market dynamics. We're living in free economies. You can do whatever you want. It's not as if we can say, "Oh, that can't happen," or "This can't happen," or whatever. Operators are struggling. You only have to read some of the news around the US market or some of the other markets. The sort of super profits that there's a lot of people in the industry, lots of people coming for players and people's incomes and deposits and everything else. So it's tricky. And also operators don't have to work with particular affiliates. It's their gift to choose who they work with. And I just think natural selection will mean that the law of the market will prevail. yes, I think there probably will be people like trying like that. And if they're not doing it already, they will. But at the same time, you've got WhatsApp communities, gambling communities that are operating right now and being paid in crypto. Everyone's arguing about what business model was big 20 years ago. And yet the new unregulated grey-black ways that players find games to make and lose money, that will never go away. And that's one of the things I think we do badly is that we underestimate the intelligence of a lot of our players. We just think, oh, they're playing games and they do this and they do that. But actually there's some pretty smart people out there and they will find their way to new ways of doing things all the time just because they're new. And so what do I think? What can I do about it? Not much. We can try and guess it, but probably not. I think we'll just see what happens. The other thing I believe very strongly is not being a pioneer. I think I've been a pioneer in the past, but it's very expensive and very risky. So I tend to like to be second mover in the market or any model. Well, because first mover is not always an advantage.
Yeah.
And as you go further on into the digital epoch, you can see that happening time and time again.
Yeah, we're definitely not the first mover in what we do.
Exactly. So you can see what's bad and then just do better. It's the least shit version model, isn't it?
Yeah, that's actually part of our story. We used to use an app called Stats Remote, and I said, there's a feedback loop that is really missing here. Programs that are going out of business, programs that say you got to change your tracking links because the old ones are invalid because we got a new software, programs that aren't paying. This is revenue leak. That's exactly why I wanted to start StatsStrong.
The less friction, the better. Obviously, there's friction that's necessary because there's KYC friction. That's important. There's affordability friction, which is also important. But at the same time, if you're taking 3 months to put some tracking code into an operating website, then that's just silly. Definitely.
All right. So last question is, what do you see of the future of affiliate marketing as it intersects with business intelligence?
I think it's amazingly exciting. I think it'll look completely different, but I'm not one of these people who says, we're going to be in hover cars in 5 years. But I just think that if you think about the new generation, including you guys, the new generation of intelligence products and softwares that we're seeing through, I'm working with people like Looker, working with Omni. They've all got machine learning embedded as a table stake. Is no longer a differentiator. It's just expected now. And even in your phone, everything in here is just enough ML to be cool, but not enough to be scary. And I just think that's the way that we're going to eke along. You can only go as fast as the slowest cohort. But I just think there's such a massive opportunity to be a lot smarter in iGaming affiliation than everybody is right now. I think that's a massive opportunity. And change, I love change. I'm a change freak. And wherever you get change, there's always, I think it's very exciting.
Yeah, I think the change that we probably will see in iGaming is more sharing of data and more people creating data sets. We can talk about AI all day long, but I think one thing that AI needs more of is data to feed it.
Yeah, exactly. And just the right people to understand how to use it, because you can easily use it to go down the wrong path, but it's turning. I always say this, and people who know me will find it very boring, but you've got the now data, the now today's data, and which is basically the what, and then you've got the context of the data, which is the so what. But the really hard part is the last bit, which is the now. What do we do with this information? And if you can crack that, then you've basically won. That's the way you need to get to. That's what we're trying to be. We're trying to be the now what business in iGaming.
And there's been discussions in the background of people saying, do we need to hire more people within iGaming or bring more people outside coming in with new ideas? And I think you've already answered that question with your short time with Game Lounge to be able to bring these new ideas into the space. So
yeah,
I think that's
brilliant. Ideas are easy, execution is the hard part. So that's the bit that we've got to get right. And many companies got execution problems. And if you can get around that, then you're in good shape.
Awesome. Richard, thank you so much for doing this. I want to pass it back to you. How can people get a hold of you if you want them to get a hold of you?
LinkedIn, usual. I've got a lot of LinkedIn requests since I started. I've never known anything like it. People are trying to get hold of you, but yeah, I'm getting that and get on with it.
Okay, we'll include the Game Lounge link to the website, and more importantly, we'll also put your LinkedIn there. Thanks a lot for doing this.
Thanks, John. Great. Thanks so much.
Thank you for tuning in to the Affiliate BI podcast. I'd like to take this time to ask for a small favor to leave a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcast. That helps us expand our reach to rank higher in podcast directories and reach more listeners.